We are going to celebrate with Bishopians who are on set 100 years of the existence of the Bishop High School in Tobago. And to speak to us is Miss Kimmery Richardson Thomas and Mr. Whitfield Turner. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Very good. All right. Mr. Whitfield Turner, obviously research and is part of how you exist, being the journalist that you are. So I'm going to ask you to give us a little history on the existence of Bishop in 100 years. Where was Bishop School? Even though I know, I will ask you. Where was the first Bishop School, where Bishop School first existed?
Well, Brother B, the 14th of September is a significant date in the history of Bishop's High School. It was on the 14th of September 1925 that the school first opened its doors to welcome the first set of students. Of course, that's not where we are today. The school opened around at where Fairfield Complex now is. If you go there, you would see the steps,
the arch
still in existence. That's probably the only thing still standing today, 100 days later, as it pertains to where the school actually originated. Over the ensuing period, of course, the school has made an indelible mark on the landscape of Tobago in many different spheres. We are the only school in Tobago and the only school in Trinidad and Tobago to have produced a president, 2 prime ministers, 3 chief secretaries, a chief justice, an attorney general, a minority leader, doctors, lawyers, nurses, engineers, athletes, and other illustrious sons and daughters of the soil, which if we were to try to name them all, we'll be sitting here past cup of tea still calling them.
All right, good. So let's leave it there for now. Mrs. Richard Thompson, good morning and welcome. A pleasure having you. And just for you, if you all want to play the comments part, she's the sister of Richardson George.
You had to go there.
Very good. You
had to go there.
And of course, the articulation is very clear. I remember having a conversation with you about Matt's house because you were one of those persons that Mr. Moses recommended that I spoke to, and I did. And you're here this morning. However, I did not know that you were Bishopian, so I'm knowing that now. But let's speak about your time there and the inspiration. Obviously, impacted you, obviously, Whitfield just outlined a number of outstanding sons and daughters. But let's speak about some of the women. He did not mention Dr. Mackenzie, and I don't know why. And
I'll explain why.
So let's go.
Let me explain why, and everything in its time. We will be highlighting our women later on in the year. But especially because we are getting ready for Father's Day this weekend, a lot of the focus will be on our men, and further too, because if we look around in our society, we see that many of our men as a gender are in crisis.
Oh boy.
Right. So this can help you to understand why we are focusing so heavily on the men, and especially as we prepare for our coming event on Saturday, men in leadership. Because we need to see more men stepping forward. And this is what Bishops has been producing for 100 years. Men and women in leadership. But we wanted to be able to transcend throughout the wider society, because it has always been the focus of Bishop's High School to create leaders from every sphere. But we are seeing, when we look at the wider national space, there is a problem. So we want to start with a focus on our men, and especially again because we are looking at Father's Day on Sunday. So don't worry, we'll take care of the women later on.
Mrs. Thomas, I am so touched when you said, because I seem to be the only voice that recognize our men, particularly black men, are in crisis.
We're saying it at Bishops.
Oh my goodness. And I'm glad you recognize it. And well, you intend to do something about it, but we didn't get into that just yet. Mr. Whitfield Turner, your colleagues have admitted something that we have to work on as men, given who you are and where I sit, and how we can inspire and motivate our young men to becoming model citizens. There is something that Bishop has that no other institution has across the Caribbean, I could say, that has turned out these outstanding people. It's something. That's why every parent wants a child to go to Bishops. What would you say is the hallmark of the success of individuals who climb these or hold these very high positions?
We try to encourage persons to realize their true potential and to show them that, hey, despite whatever challenges you might be facing, despite whatever things that may beset you, there is always a way around whatever those challenges are for you to obtain success. One of the things I think it was Mr. Sebro taught me when I was in chemistry, the heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight. But while their companions slept, we were toiling upwards in the night. So success comes by hard work.
Very good.
If it is a quick fix, then it's not success. So you have to be prepared to put in the work. Determination and perspiration must be present.
What was the motto, Ms. Thomas?
So Crede Cruci. Crede Cruci, it's
Latin.
It was Latin.
Yes,
Crede
Cruci.
What was it in English?
It's
I believe in the cross.
I believe in
the cross.
Because remember, it's an Anglican school, so a lot of the focus really had to be on the Word of God.
Wow.
And that's the foundation. It has always been the foundation. Looking to the cross is the way of the cross, so that we understand. And if you remember, the founders of the school were Anglican bishops. So that biblical foundation, that Christian foundation, really was woven deep into the ethos of Bishop's High School. So there was always a responsibility to represent ourselves in a Christ-like manner in everything that we did.
Excellent. All right. So let's get now to the function that is being held for these men given Father's Day. And I dubbed this month Father's Month because we don't play up, and I didn't get much time to talk about because so many other issues. But let's come now to the activities over this weekend. Just tell us when and who is invited to this.
Yes. So this weekend we are looking at from these hallowed halls. It's our men's leadership forum. And we will have 4 distinguished sons of the soil. And I start there, sons of the soil, because they're Tobagonians.
Yes.
But they're also Bishopians. Because Bishop's history is Tobago's legacy. If we check with almost every household in Tobago, Bishop's has impacted them in some way. It's not just about having graduates or students, having children who went to the school. There are parents who've never gone to Bishop's, but their children went. There are people who have never attended Bishop's, but their spouse or grandchild, somebody went. So if we look at it, it's woven deep into.
Yes.
So on Saturday, we are having this forum at the Bowles Hall at Bishop's High School, 6 p.m. Now, it is at this event, if you know how Bowles Hall is laid out, we cannot accommodate the entire island.
Okay.
As much as we would love to have the entire island there, we can't. So we're asking persons to call ahead. Indicate that you're interested in being there. Call the Centennial office at 260-2025. 260, and this year, 2025. Okay. Because everything we're doing, we're focusing on that 2025, 100.
Right.
So indicate your interest in being there. We will have memorabilia on sale on the day, but we don't want to have persons get there and be uncomfortable and having to stand up, because when we would have at that forum our former Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. We are going to have our Chief Justice Ivor Archie. We are going to have our Anglican Bishop, Reverend Berkeley. And we're also going to have our distinguished Chief Secretary, Farley Shevers Augustine. You hear those names, and it's supposed to make your paws raise.
Exactly.
And it's supposed to make people want to be a part of something historical. Because we need to understand that this is what it is, you know. None of us, most of us, having this conversation now, we're not going to be around in the next 100. When else would we be able to get that, to be able to sit and hear from men of this caliber? And we're asking persons, you get there, you can if you have a question, you can share it beforehand, and it will be passed on to the moderator. Understanding, probably not all questions may get
answer. Yeah.
Right,
is there a fee?
No fee at all.
No.
All the more reason for all of Tobago to come out. There is no cost. Come, be a part of something historical. Hear from these men as they speak about what they experienced at Bishop's High School that led to them being so strong in their positions of leadership, representing not just Tobago, but the nation.
And the region as well.
And the region.
Excellent.
Thank you.
The dress code, obviously, this is a formal function, maybe? I don't know.
It's not formal, but we're not coming in cut-off jeans and crop tops and so on. We want to be, because again, one of the number one rule of Bishop's High School is a breach of common sense. A breach of common sense is a breach of the school rules. And common sense, though not common, we would like people to apply that in coming to an event with, the kind, and then when we consider too that the moderator will be Miss Ira Maturo, who's also a Bishopian.
Really?
Yes, world-renowned journalist. Yes. Tell you, we're producing good quality.
I tell you, Bishop. All right.
Good quality.
And of course, we have a veteran journalist at your right side, and of course, Whitfield Turner has been doing a good job.
Not the only one. I can actually tell you, it's probably easier to ask for those members of the media who did not go to bishops rather than the other way around. Okay. Because we can call many names in that state as well.
Very good. All right. And so we look forward to it. And Saturday, what time again?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And of course, right. So make your way. But you said call in advance, book your space because you don't want people standing. And the event starts at 6 and people must be seated by 5:30?
That's a good time. Yes, 5:30.
Very good. Because you don't want people walking in when somebody's speaking. Obviously, that's not good. All right. So I will look for that. Now, you mentioned earlier that the women, and we can call some very notable women also, who attended bishops, of course. So when will the ladies be accommodated in this celebration of 100 years?
So the ladies are supposed to be accommodated in October, and we will give you more information as we get closer to that. Okay. Because we are celebrating throughout the year. We have a range of activities. We started last year. We started last year in September, and we've been having other activities because we are also calling all our sons and daughters home, and it's going to take a year really to get everybody here. Right. So after, when we're finished with this forum, there are other events that will be, we'll have events in July. We're going to have our bragging rights. So, and if you know anything about bishops, you know where it comes to our houses and our, we know that the rivalry is real and it's rich. So we're going to have that. We're going to have our awards, where we will be honoring 100 Bishopians, and we've sent out information for the general public to nominate individuals for those awards. We will have our Bishopians in concert. Listen, Brother B, the activities. Well, I expect to see you there on Saturday.
In concert, I guess the Bishop Band with God James, I saw him.
John Arnold. Yes, we have notable Bishopians who will be in concert.
Excellent.
And it's going to be an exciting time, all leading up.
All right. Mr. Whitfield Turner, I want to just, anyway, we gotta go, but just to get you, men in crisis, obviously, very strong. One of your colleagues, a female, recognized our men in crisis. Obviously, Bishop has exemplars, that can inspire our young men. I don't know if I'm just throwing this out. Maybe there should be maybe an approach by the Bishop alumni to deal with how, for those who have fallen by the way, there are those Bishopians who did not make it, successful in after school and so on. Those men that we can possibly save. And I'm saying that because I'm happy that you recognize our men. I thought I was the only one who recognized that. So maybe assignment, Mr. Turner?
It's certainly something we can take on board. I'm rehearsing the calendar of events in my head, and I think it's something that we can probably work on and target that particular cohort, because yes, there are persons who over the years may have slipped through the cracks, who may have fallen on hard times and so forth. And so if there's something that as a school we can do to help to bring them back, then in the spirit again of the school, then once there's something we can do, certainly we will look.
Excellent. All right, I want to thank you all for being here, and indeed, as eloquent as Mrs. Richardson Thomas is, and of course, we hear Mr. Turner on the news often reporting and so on. So we know that you all come from good stock, as we say, and it was indeed a pleasure having both of you. In closing, I'll take you first, ma'am.
Well, we want to, as Bishopians and the Centennial Committee, we want to, and if I could face the camera so that I can speak directly, this one could speak directly to the island. Come out on Saturday. Be a part of what it is we are doing. We are celebrating not just our school, not just the alumni, but we are celebrating Tobago. Bishop's history is Tobago's legacy. And as we celebrate the upcoming, this 100th year, be a part of the unfolding of something historical. And we invite you to check our website, go to our Facebook page, Bishops Tobago 100, do the search, this is what we're about, and be a part of all that's taking place.
Very good. Mr. Turner?
And even if you may not have attended Bishops yourself, there is somebody in your family, somebody close to you who attended Bishops. And as we keep saying, it's not just about the school itself. Bishop's legacy is Tobago's legacy. I will just drop this a little bit here, Brother B, as we go. Did you know that Tobago's autonomy is closely tied to Bishop's High School? Did you know?
No.
If you didn't know, there's more to that in our upcoming events. So you want to be a part of it, you want to stay on board, you want to follow all our pages, and the information will keep coming out as we go through the Centennial celebrations. We can't get into that story
I know,
now.
yeah. But you just threw a cliffhanger there. And that's good. Good journalism in terms of keeping the audience interested in what's going on. Indeed, a pleasure having you both. And, of course, all the best to Bishop as they celebrate their 100 years. And, my mother went to Bishop, just in case.
So you are part of it.
Yes. And she would boast, and she would say to her friend, and there was a friend of hers, and Ms. Yates said, but you must let them know your mother went to Bishop's. That teacher, yes. So they were colleagues in school. All right, well.
Right, so Saturday we see you.
I didn't want to boast, but I keep it.
You have to be there.
All right,